Recently, in the Canadian province of Ontario, books that were considered offensive to the Indigenous population were burned, reports the newspaper Le Figaro. A dozen schools decided to clear school libraries of 5,000 books. This action turned into a flashy spectacle. There were, of course, speeches about the book's offenses. After burning the books, the ashes were used to fertilize trees. There were many serious essays, biographies of researchers, scientific works, novels, and historical works among them. We hear that the Indigenous Canadians rejoiced and danced around this fire. I see that humanity lately has been trying to solve the problems of equality this way, leading to this eventually. This is what it's coming down to: burning things.
It's easier than educating.
Easier than educating, right?
So what do you expect?
Yes, you see the schools went for it. That is, those places whose calling is to educate, they educate this way, by burning the books and saying, this is how it's done.
Education cannot be replaced by anything because it changes a person. Its goal is to change a person, and everything else is something else external.
So hating these writers, these books, is a departure from the education, right?
Of course. They wrote everything correctly for their time. They were progressive people. You know, there's this old joke toward the victory of slave labor.
Yes.
And it was progressive. These authors were worshipped as a light to humanity.
In general, each generation destroys what the prior generation has built.
Well, that's the problem. You must destroy correctly in order to build correctly. And what did they build as a result of destroying slavery? They all became slaves. All of them, slaves.
Then what do you call the right education? This begs to be asked.
When a person is taught to love another, teach everyone to love each other, and there will be no hint of slavery.
That is, by doing so, you remove the basis of inequality, right?
Yes. And what do you do here instead? You bring out the hatred for each other between all strata of population and only develop it further. And what's the use? Has slavery stopped? No.
Well, they say it's like hating the hatred that was there.
This is disguised slavery. It is still here today at every level. Man by nature wants to subdue another. So where is it eradicated?
That is, education should be aimed not at erasing all the stages of history that took place. They did happen, right? Do not burn anything. Do not break monuments.
Don't
recall the bad. From this moment on, start, as you say, the attitude of trying to love one's neighbor, right?
Yes, and then you don't have to destroy anything that came before.
Then how, I wonder, will the past be seen if we reach this level?
That such things happen.
That's it? That it happened and that's all, right?
Of course. We were all young. We soiled our diapers.
That's how we grew up.
Yes, that's how we grew up. We did stupid things. Smashed, broke dishes, or whatever. We all went through such a path of growing up.
And we had to go through it, right?
Well, how else?
So this is how we'll look at it. We had to go through it, so it's justified?
Of course, this is humanity. These are the natural stages of its maturation. Objectively speaking, this happened, and therefore we should not forget about it. And today, we have nothing to be ashamed of or to justify in the past. Nothing. We just have to understand, realize why nature has made it so inside us. This huge ego that is still in us today. How can it really be corrected? We must break out of slavery to the ego within ourselves, every person and all of us collectively. That's all.
Yes, interesting. Then we will even be grateful for those pages of history that happened.
Of course.
They led us to this decision.
Yes, and we will definitely have to control this ego correctly. But if we destroy, we'll keep suspended in the air.